My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is the pencil and eraser. I once was doing a shamanic journey, and I went into lower world, which is just journeying through. You can do a tree trunk. There's lots of different ways to get there. And when I went into the lower world, I slid into a kiva. Now, I didn't know what a kiva was, but I was told in the journey to look it up. And apparently a kiva, there's some native tribes that would dig into the earth and they would place a fire down in that earth and build a mound up around it and just leave an opening at the top and allow the smoke to come through. So they could do like a temazcal or like a sweat lodge, but, you know, have a connected to the earth experience. And I slid into a kiva, and it was a kiva in which all native males were gathered around the fire. And so it felt as if I was actually moving through time space into an actual kiva gathering. And one of the native gentlemen got up and he came over to me and he said, "Hey, Heather, you write your life with a pencil, but I just want to remind you, you have an eraser too." And then I came out of the journey. Then we were drummed back into our bodies. And I was thinking about this today. After the gym, typically go to the mountain and balance my chakras and unlock my kundalini and just be weird in the mountains. You know how it is. You know how it goes. And I was headed to do that. And I was thinking about this guy saying this to me. And, you know, the funny thing is that we have a tendency to think that our lives are written in pen. It's like, no, that is the story. That is what happened. My mother died and my father died when I was 17 months. And then my mom died in a car accident when I was 24. And then there's like a story, and these are the facts. And our life is full of facts, and the facts are written in ink. And life is it's really written with a pencil, because you are the one dictating, you're the storyteller. You're the one dictating the story and telling the story. And I can tell the story that my mom, you know, died in a car accident when I was 24 and my dad drowned when I was 17 months old. And I have told that story. But I also can tell the story that they're here right now and that we're eternal spirit and they're more alive, you know, and I'm just still playing Earth School, but they're like more fully embodied in their spirits and they're with me and super available to me. And I can tell that story as a tragedy and a travesty. And I can also tell it as a great strengthener that awakened in me self-reliance, independence, you know, a lot of different things that have been wonderful gifts that have carried me through my life. We also have the opportunity not only to rewrite the way we tell our stories in this life, but also to erase. And I think about this a lot. Like, I was watching two people like try to race each other and just drive unsafe. And I noticed I wanted to judge it. My ego wanted to judge it. And I was like, judgment's not my thing. It's not my jam. That's not the jam on my biscuits. I remind Heather Feather all the time, because many spiritual texts that I've studied over many, many years all point to just drop the weighty lead-like quality that is judgment, and you'll find the liquid gold that is enlightenment. And so I was noticing I wanted to judge him, and I was like, oh, I don't want to judge him, but I do want to erase that from my story. Like, well, I erase these characters. I don't choose those characters in my story. And both parties just one turn right and one turn left. And they literally just got out of the picture, you know? Like, farewell, thank you. You're not a character in my movie. Goodbye. Blessed, be blessed. Be blessed in your new journey, you know? And so I think it's normal to feel like we are stuck in our stories. Another way that I often think of this is every morning that I wake up, every morning that you wake up, you are a blank canvas. You're a blank canvas. And you can do watercolors with your canvas. You can do oil. You can do pastels. You can do, you know what I mean? You're a blank sheet of paper, canvas, whatever it is. You're blankness, emptiness. Emptiness in the allness. You scientifically, factually are emptiness. And every day we get up with a great addiction to our labels. And we relabel ourselves. Oh, I'm this. I'm you know, I'm this character, I'm this quality of music, I'm this style of dress, I'm this type of human being, this type of sexuality, this type of We put all of our labels back on our flesh sack, or future death sack, as I like to call it. And we often wake up every morning and paint a relatively similar picture to the one we had yesterday. You know, we're like, and the deer goes there, and this time I'll put a little ladybug on the leaf, you know? And we actually have access to paint anything we want. We can change our labels. We can change our definitions. We can change our decisions about who we are. We can change our definitions and decisions about who others are in relationship. You want to see somebody really change in your life, you're not really the steward of others. You're always a steward of yourself and the consciousness you hold of others, however. So like, just change your mind about them. Change your mind. Like when I start having difficulty with a two-legged, I often practice compassion and love. And I will, when I'm being mindful of the tools that I have in my toolkit, I have many, but I have to remember they're there. But when I'm being mindful, I remember to just like love them and pray for their graces and understand, have empathy for what I don't understand that they're struggling through in their own life that may be causing them to behave sideways. You know what I mean? And to just really look for the good, look for the silver lining in others. You know, I want to tell a silver lining story here at Earth School. And I want to find the silver lining in myself, and I want to find the silver lining in others. And what I know to be true is that I'm lovable, and so are you. You know, we're completely lovable. We're completely capable of love. We can be very loving. And we have a tendency to tell the story of like, life is banal and boring, and I gotta work and pay these bills. We have a tendency sometimes, as two-leggeds, Heather included, everybody, I'm no saint, but like to tell the story that we don't want to hear, that we don't want to see, you know? And so I want to always remember that I have an eraser with me, and I can erase the way I see that circumstance. I mentioned before I lost my virginity to rape. I was 12 or 13 years old. And, you know, a great coming of age story. Wonderful. And so there are definitely a lot of ways I can tell that story. But one of the things I like to erase that I used to put in place on that storyboard of that aspect of my life is my innocence was stolen. You know, I was victimized and traumatized. And so now at 48, since that happened at 12 or 13, I've had some distance from it. And I've gained some sights that I didn't have at that age. And now when I look at it, I can recognize, wow, I really gained some strength. And I've come to understand that I'm the steward of my body, and that I have the freedom to express whatever I want. And I've come to learn that Earth School offers shadow and light, and that neither of them are wrong teachers. There's no bad teacher here. We love to be like, I had this bad experience, I just want to be happy, you know? And I say all the time, you can't just laugh from birth until death. You'd be so bored if you were just like, ha, 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 ha. There'd be like no point in Earth School. There's no pressure to make a diamond of evolution in just having what you always want. And like, where do you get to build desire if your life is constantly reflecting grace and peace and love? Like, what is the point in coming into a dualistic realm, right? And so what I try to be mindful of, because I feel often in the way that I hold the story of my life, is it's been very dark and very hard. And I've told many people I would not wish my life on anyone. I wouldn't wish my life on, think of the darkest, worst person you can think of, you know? Hitler usually comes to mind for me when I think of that, you know? There's been a bunch of them, Pol Pot, doesn't matter. Think of the darkest, most terrible human, you know? I wouldn't wish them my life. And I'm grateful and humbled that I have chosen to become this woman in response to this life pathway. And I can erase that notion that my life has not been a life worth living. Because one of the things Heather Feather's always aiming towards is, am I living a life worth living? What is a life worth living? You know, it's different strokes for different folks. A life worth living to me is not having Gucci or, you know, driving some fancy, I don't, you know, I'm not, what are you going to cover me with a car and all my baubles when I'm dead? I truly believe I'm going to take the relationship with self and relationship with others. So my constant desire or aim in life is really to balance the way I treat myself, be kind to this wonderful, lovable person, and the way I treat the world. And it's, you know, it's easy for Heather to be like, you, that person out there, I don't like the way you're behaving, you meanie, you know, you said unkind things, you're being, you know, I have a lot of strange behavior from two-leggeds because I operate quintessentially like a galactic mirror, and sometimes people don't want to look at themselves through me. And so they'll push back and throw a lot of trash on me that doesn't belong on me. Okay, that's okay. I know that divinity has made me compassionate enough to not allow your trash. I'm not a wastebasket, you know what I mean? To just like, well, that's not mine. I'll bless that back to you. May you find love as the answer. And it's a constant practice. Love is a practice. It's an action. It's a verb, you know. Kindness is a practice. It's an action. It's a verb. It's a doable thing. And self-respect is a practice. It's an action. It's a verb. It's not something you get and necessarily always keep. And so what I'm constantly looking at is, do I like the story I'm writing? First of all, do I like the story that I'm writing? Well, let's just evaluate Heather's life right now. I do like some of the stuff that I've been writing in my life. I'm dating for the first time in a long time. That's fantastic. I am, you know, really moving towards evolving Rare Bird Medicine, looking for properties to land the brick and mortar college. Yeah, but there are things that I don't like about it. Like, I feel like my life is often, I'm challenged with keeping balance because I can be super disciplined. I can work an 8-hour shift. I can go to the gym. I can go to the mountain. I can cleanse my Kundalini. I can even come back and do a little work for Rare Bird Medicine. But when I get super disciplined, I forget to play. I forget to laugh. I forget to like, hey, what's the point of life? What's a life worth living, Heather? Is it really work, 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 you know? And so for me, one of the things I get to constantly rewrite or look into is like how much play and joy and goofing off and prospering for nothing. You know what I mean? To have to always work hard to prosper. Like, what is the consciousness I hold here? So it's like, how much of my life is just being blissed and feeling free and having joy? And how much of it is kind of work, 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 work. Yeah, you better bear fruit, you know? And so I'm often looking at balance to be the medicine to Heather because I can sometimes operate in extremes. So that's one of the ways that my life is evolving. But that's a rewrite for me. Like, I often, if I get away from disciplined, my life can become very play, play, play. And yeah, I can luxuriate in all kinds of things that I enjoy. And there's a balance. It's good to build desire, sexual desire, food desires. It doesn't matter what the desire is. Like, we tend to think, I like sex, gimme. I want meal, gimme, I like, you know? But if you allow yourself to have one really great meal per week, eating wherever you want, but the rest of the week you eat organic and healthy, you'll find at the end of your life, you're a lot healthier and you're probably not going to be addicted to pharmaceuticals, you know, the cornucopia, which comes with a lot of side effects. You know, it's like, look, will solve your glaucoma that may cause spontaneous combustion. It's like, I don't think that's medicine. Teach their own. And so, you know, there's a component of how much are you going to write into your life like, I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm just this way. I just eat this way. I just act this way. I just do this thing. And how much are you going to recognize the sovereign authority you have to rewrite the story? Sometimes we have to push. Like, I had to push last month to join the Choose Fitness place, gym up here. And I'm having to push myself sometimes to go there. Because, you know, today was a very busy day at work. And I had to really, it's like, just still go. You're still going to go to the gym, you know. But I make sure that I write that in. And then really it's important to know that you can erase any part you want. Is there anyone in your life that maybe needs to be erased as a character from your movie? Doesn't mean you have to ghost them. It's like an option, I guess. But we'll all be ghosts one day. Let's not preemptively do that maybe. You can just say like, hey, I'm focusing on myself. I'm going to nurture a relationship with self right now. So this relationship, thank you for being my friend. I need to like be complete with it right now. I'm just going to focus on self, and I pray for you to have whatever it is you seek while I do this. You can always reclaim yourself. Is there anything that could use some scrutiny and some evaluation and some consideration as to whether or not it still belongs in your life? Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Is there anything you'd like to rewrite? And is there anything that you'd like to completely erase? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there, and at rarebirdmedicine.com, I offer lots of services. Have a blessed day.